Welcome to the special magistrate hearing for October 11th, 2022. If you wish to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. You too.
If you wish to speak, please stand and raise your right hand.
You gotta stand, please. Sir? Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth at today's hearing? Thank you. Please silence all electronic devices.
Our first case is on page 23, Inspector Paulette Delgrosso, case number CE 22080693, case address 1135 North Federal Highway, owner PMG Airport LLC. This case was cited 8/24/22 to comply by 9/7/22. One section complied at $150, a total of $2,400 accrued, and the city is requesting the full amount be imposed and no appeal was received for the citation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Delgrosso. Okay. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Inspector Delgrosso for the City of Fort Lauderdale. The case and address are as read. The property was initially inspected on August 24th and cited for the following violation: 47.50.2.24, an unpermitted banner sign located on the rear of the building to attract attention whilst driving southbound on North Federal Highway was present. A citation with 14 days to remove the banner was hand-delivered to Delia Hernandez, the manager on duty. Upon reinspection on September 14th, the banner remained and a daily penalty of $150 began. On September 21st, the banner remained and a notice of hearing was posted on the front door. As of September 23rd, the banner was removed. Therefore, the city is seeking a reduced amount of $1,200 in fines as the business was out of compliance for 16 days.
I'm sorry, the amount that you're seeking is?
$1,200.
All right. All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name.
Ori Nahum.
Anything you'd like to add to what this lady said?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, because we're in compliance, I was just looking for a, reduced amount on behalf of my tenant. So I do apologize, that it took a while for my tenant to actually remove the banner. And I had told them, to just please remove it or get a permit for it, essentially. But, now that we're in compliance, I'm just here on behalf of, them and the landlord to try to, get a reduced amount.
Okay. All right, sir, you were issued a citation, and on the citation it stated that if you didn't take an appeal, and apparently you did not take an appeal, the violation was deemed to be admitted. So under the ordinance, I have no alternative but to impose the fine of $1,200. I do want to advise you that there's a procedure to seek a reduction in that amount should you so desire, and someone here, I'm sure, will assist you with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 30 with Inspector Wilson Quintero, case number CE 22060319, case address 720 Northwest 14th Terrace, owner MPG 700-745 LLC, in care of Metropolitan Property Group. This case was first heard on 8/9/22 to comply by 9/6/22. Two sections not complied at $50 per day. $3,500 is accrued. This is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero, Jr. on behalf of the city. Case number and address as read. This case was first heard on August 9th, 2022, where the magistrate ruled in favor of the city and the property owner was ordered to correct violations at this property by September 6, 22. Violations remain and continue to accrue daily fines. City is requesting full imposition. And this is the
All right, ma'am, if you'll
representative.
speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Sure. My name is Xiomara Ibarra Blackmoon.
If you'll keep your voice up, please.
Hi, my name is Xiomara Ibarra Blackmoon, and I'm the property manager for the property. And the violation, has been corrected already. I've been trying to contact the city to, for them to pass and see it, and I have no response for that. I mean, I don't know, the last time that I was inspector, but the trash has been picked up, the grass is cut, and I have receipts to prove it if you need to.
Well, ma'am, you had
And
3
pictures.
violations. One, you've complied.
One of the problems that we had there,
You
Magistrate,
got
is
a
that,
landscaping issue and you got a dumpster issue.
okay, let me explain about, about the dumpster. It's a 96 unit, and the problem that we have, with the dumpster is the cities require us to have the dumpster closed gate and closed tap, and we do it. And our tenants do not want to touch the tap because the COVID and all this stuff, and then they don't want to touch it, and then they just throw the garbage in the floor. We have people there constantly during the day picking up the garbage, and it's a constant situation. They keep throwing it in there. We send letter, we post notes, we do everything that we can do and pick it up the garbage constantly during the day. But it's like, they don't listen. You find them, you do everything, and it's like,
This dumpster's for the use of the tenants.
correct. We had 2 big dumpsters in there. And we had 2 maintenance guys the whole day in the property. Coming there 7 o'clock in the morning, picking up everything, throwing it in the tin. Half an hour later, you go back again, it's in there. And then you ask the tenant, they tell you, no, I don't want to touch that. I mean, because the COVID, this infection, and all kind of stuff. And we put chlorine, we put all kind of stuff in it, but they still do not want to touch it. They just want to throw it in front. The dumpsters are empty, and they throw it in the front. But the city
Not
required me
sure
to
what-
keep it closed.
You've got to deal, I don't know what the answer is, but you got to deal with your tenants, ma'am.
I would like,
I mean,
to see the city keep
I'm
it.
looking for a way to give you an extension, but you don't seem to have a plan to resolve the issue.
I increase my employees in the property. But like I said, the tenants do not want to touch the dumpster. They don't want to touch it. And when you explain to them, the city require us to keep it closed. They don't want it, they go like, whoa, the city has to change the, this rule because, the COVID, I don't want to touch that because it's infected and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, like I said, I have 2 employees there every single day. And they go, they clean it, they pick it up, turn around. As soon as they turn around, they trash it again, they pick it up, and it's like, I don't know. I mean,
Well, ma'am, you got to come up with something. Ma'am, I'm going to give you a 10-day extension and
Okay.
stay the fines as of this date.
thank you so much.
You
And
got to come up with something, all right?
I'm thinking
Okay.
Thank you, Your
hard
That's
for
the
that.
best I can do today.
Thank you so much, sir. You have a nice day.
Our next case is on page 37, with Senior Inspector Dorian Cologne. Case number CE 200104668. Case address 3411 Jackson Boulevard. Owner Cecilia Powell. This case was first heard on 5/26/22 to comply by 8/25/22. One section not complied at $25 per day, $1,175 accrued. One section complied at $25 per day, $100 accrued. A total of $1,275 is accrued, and the city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
Good morning. Senior Inspector Cologne for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE-200100468, case address 3411 Jackson Boulevard. This property is first inspected on January 9th, 2020, and heard at the magistrate on 5/26/22, where the magistrate found for the city to comply by 8/25/22, or a fine in the amount of $25 a day per violation thereafter. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 9/27/2022, and the violation 9304B was still in violation, as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting a full imposition of the fines, or what we were. However, the respondent is here to speak in reference to that.
Okay.
We were.
Okay. Multiple violations. Okay. All complied except one.
Correct.
Okay, ma'am, if you'll adjust the microphone, just pull it right down, speak right into it and state your name, please.
Good morning. My name is Cecilia Powell.
All right, anything you'd like to add, ma'am?
Well, I work with my company for 36 years, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I'm still battling the cancer. And sorry, I get an extension for the property, and then I'm supposed to get some money from the company, my shares and everything. They was supposed to pay out the money in July, but I didn't get it. So I'm not saying I'm not fixing it, but I'm asking you please to just give me some more extension so I could, by now and say January. But I will try and do it before January.
All right, ma'am, you understand what the final violation is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, the city wouldn't oppose to a 91-day extension, but we would like a mandatory reappearance.
Okay, you say 91?
91-day
91. Okay.
would bring us to January 10th.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to grant a 91-day extension to January 10th, 2023.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
With the expectation you're going to get this cleared up
Yes, I
during
will.
that time.
I will. Thanks.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to, but you're going to have a mandatory appearance. You have to appear back here on that date, and I'm going to stay the fines as of today. You'll get a written order in the mail.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks.
Our next case is on page 2. Senior Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 22060137, case address at 911 Southwest 11th Avenue, numbers 1 and 2. Owner Knobs Marina Inc., property posted 92722, posted at City Hall 92622.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22060137, address 911 Southwest 11th Avenue, apartment 1 and 2. Property was cited on June 6, 2022 for the following violations. 9-304B, there is grass/weeds growing up into the gravel driveway and not being maintained in a well-kept manner. There are two boat trailers parked on the grass and not on an approved surface. 18-12A has complied. There is vegetation, overgrowth, trash and rubbish and debris and litter on the property / right-of-way. 47-34.1.8.1 there is evidence of boats being stored for sale at this RD15 zoned property. This property is not permitted to sell boats that are docked at this property. A 2002 44 feet lures sports fisherman. 15-34 there is evidence of engaging in a business at this location without a required City of Fort Lauderdale business tax receipt. There are boats being advertised for sale at this RD15 zoned property through a business named Knobs Marina Inc. An inspection report was posted on the property and a copy was mailed to the owner listed on BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 10th, 2022, and violations remain. 3-304B, 47-34.1.8.1, and 15-34 remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 35 days to comply or a daily fine of $15 per day thereafter per
Sorry, the
violation.
city's request was, repeat, please.
I'm sorry, requesting 35 days to comply or $50 per day thereafter per violation.
All right. All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Will Barrio. I'm a yacht broker. I work with Jordan. Jordan was unable to make it today. He's working the boat show in Annapolis, Maryland. And I have a few things to say. Knobs Marina is a yacht brokerage in Coconut Creek. Knobs Marina is a holding company that owns 911 Southwest 11th Avenue. They have nothing to do with each other. Knobs Marina allows Knobs Marine to keep boats at that location owned by private owners that they are for sale, but we do not operate a business from that address. Every brokerage in South Florida has boats for sale on the waterways here in Fort Lauderdale, and we have boats for sale in other properties in Fort Lauderdale, and we're not operating a business from those locations. We asked Inspector Williams and other associates in the city to find out what law we're violating in response to not operating a business or us having boats there that are for sale, but we don't have an office there. We don't live there. The property is actually rented out to tenants. But yeah, I would love to, find a solution to this. I know that there's other issues ongoing with the property as far as the lawn maintenance, and I know that Jordan's trying to get that done, and I think he's done almost all of it. I think the only thing was the picture of the driveway on the easement. I think that needs to be fixed as well, and I know he's working for it.
All right. Ma'am, did you want to speak on this case? All right, sir, if you'll step back from the microphone. Ma'am, if you'll adjust the microphone.
Yeah, my name is
State your
Sandra
name.
Stengel, and I'm a neighbor. They've been doing this business now for a year and a half. They were cited priorly, and the case was closed. They had over $12,000 worth of fines. They've done charter boats off there where they have carloads of people dropped off to take charters out. They are getting to a threatening point. They don't like the fact that there's a code case open. So when one of their, employees was parked in the middle of the street one day, I asked him to park in the parking lot where he was doing business. When the guy left, he's leaving going, "I'm going to get you," and he's acting like he's going to shoot me. Then his partner, Mr. Bund, I guess thought it was funny. So one day when I was taking pictures of him, he's acting like we're in the gunslinger fight back in the 50s with both hands slinging guns at me. So he's made a very hostile situation. They continuously park on other people's property, and it's a business. So he's got 2 rentals there, and now he's got a marine business there. And the property looks terrible. Originally, when this property was approved for a duplex, it had been done illegally prior to their owning it. The city said they needed all kinds of shrubbery and whatnot. The place looks terrible. The garbage cans are in front. The grass is in the thing. Anyways, I don't understand why a year and a half later, now we're talking about a fine. It was fined before. It should have already been being fined again.
All right, sir. Anything else you'd like to add?
The only other vehicles that arrive to that location are bottom scrubbers, people who clean the bottom of the boats that are not hired by us. They're not employees of us. There's only 2 employees in the company. It's me and Jordan. So if there's anybody else arriving there, it's hired by the people who own these boats that they need to do maintenance on the boats, oil changes, whatever needs to be done to those boats is hired by the owners of those specific boats. As far as people parking on, somebody else's property, I'm not aware of it. We've actually installed cameras so that we could see any activity where we can speak to, if somebody parks somewhere they're not allowed to park, I could actually speak to them through the camera to correct it so that we don't have a hostile situation. The last thing we want is to create problems with our neighbors. We just want to have, good, not a happy relationship, but we just want things to be normal and for us to be able to arrive at our property that my boss owns and not be attacked by the neighbors. Every time we come out, and I'm sure she could show you her phone is full of pictures of me, because every time I arrive, she takes pictures of me and my vehicle, or my wife, whoever I'm with.
Okay, I think I've heard plenty. All right. Based on the evidence and the testimony, I find that each violation does exist. 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter on each.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 31.
I'm sorry, what page?
Inspector Bernstein Sambird,
I'm sorry, we're on page
31.
31.
Case number CE 22020341. Case address 1309 Northwest 7 Terrace. Owner Jared Pond. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. Suspended 7/12/22 to 8/9/22. Two sections not complied at $50 per day. $3,600 is accrued. One section not complied at $50 per day. $4,550 is accrued. A total of $8,150 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and fines continue to accrue on the non-complied violations.
Good morning, City. I'm Code Inspector Bernstein Sandberg. Case number CE 22020341, property address 1309 Northwest 7 Terrace. This property was first heard April 12, 2022, given 63 days to comply with the landscape and 28 days for all other violation. The property was ordered to be corrected. 9-313A complied, 1812A complied. 9-305B, landscape at this property not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. City is requesting full imposition of fines. I did speak with the property owner, met with him at the property, explained to him what he needs to do, and once he's in compliance, we can go ahead and discuss the fines.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name.
Yes, good morning, Jared Pond.
All right, well, you complied on 3 of them, but your landscape issue remains.
That's correct. I met with an inspector on Friday as well as with another inspector, and we actually have a ground cover that works for the shaded area that this is. The city's recommendation over the course of the summer was sod. I've had sod in this location twice in the past 20 years of owning the property, and it never works given the area is shaded. So the inspector that was with us on Friday did recommend cultivating the ground cover that's now there. It's filled in about 50% of the area. My request is that that's what we move forward with.
All right, well, but so are you prepared to resolve the last issue, the landscaping?
Well, that is the issue, is that the ground cover that's growing in is now growing in.
Okay. All right, sir. What I'm
It's
going
a
to
shade.
do
It's
is
I requested to put down hardscaping or mulch and was told neither of those would be sufficient. I also asked about putting a fence in so it simply wouldn't be visible from the street and was told that was not sufficient.
all right, sir, I'm going to give you a 21-day extension to get the last violation brought into compliance. I'm going to stay the fines as of this date.
Okay, so I'm just unclear because we do have a ground cover down now that is growing in.
You talk to the inspector.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Our next case is on page 35. Senior Inspector Dorian Cologne, case number CE 22050010. Case address 3017 Alhambra Street, numbers 1 through 5. Owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1, Property LLC. This case was first heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22. Suspended 8/9/22 to 8/24/22. Two sections not complied at $50 per day, $7,800 accrued. One section complied at $200 per day. $50 per day, $200 accrued. A total of $8,000 accrued, and the city is requesting full amount being. The city has a request. Also on page 35, there is case number CE 22050012. The case address 3021 Alhambra Street. Owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1 Property LLC. This case was also heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22. Suspended 8/9/22 to 8/24/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $3,900 accrued. One section complied at $50 per day, $200 accrued. $4,100 has accrued. On page 36, there's case number CE 22050013. Case address 3029 Alhambra Street. Owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1 Property LLC. This case was first heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22, suspended 8/9/22 to 8/24/22. One section not complied at $50 per day, $3,900 accrued. One section complied at $50 per day, $200 accrued. $4,100 has accrued.
Good morning again. Senior Inspector Cologne, City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 2205-0010, 3017, case address 3017 Alhambra Street, Unit 135. This case came before the magistrate on June 30th, 2022, where the magistrate found for the city to comply 651-1, 651-2, 651-3 by 71022, or a fine of $50 per violation thereafter. The case was brought back on August 9th, 2022, where the magistrate gave a 15-day extension for violation 651-2 and 651-3. The representative for the owner is here to speak in reference to the remaining violations.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right in the microphone and state your name.
Yes, hi, my name is Juan Luis Chueca. And regarding the violations, I know last time we were here, we were supposed to get the amber lights within a week. That's why they gave us a 15-day extension. It turned out that the supply chain, we didn't get those lights at the time the supplier told us. We just got them in probably a week ago. So we're making arrangements to start changing all the lights to amber lights.
All right, I'm missing what you're saying, sir. I'm not sure what that is you have in your hand.
Oh, we have just to show you that, we have the amber lights have arrived to the property. So we're in the process of getting the electrician back on site to replace all the regular lights to the amber lights.
So, Your Honor, yes, so we did speak, so for the lights that he's going to install, and as far as the signage as well, the city would not oppose to an extension of 21 days with a stay of fines.
All right, okay, I'm going to grant a 21-day extension and stay the fines as of this date.
Okay.
Okay, we still have the other case.
We have two more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Just
so
wanna do
the,
do the same thing on the second case?
so the second one is 651-2 is the violation on that one. So it would be the same thing, an extension of 21 days for 6-51-2 with a stay of fines.
So ordered. Okay,
And just,
sir, did
just
you
for
want to
clarity
speak?
of the record, can we just read back in the case number?
Okay,
You know,
so let me,
the magistrate
I'll
orders.
repeat that. So for case number CE 2205-0012, case address 3021 Alhambra Street, the is for the violation 651-2, 21-day extension with stay of fines.
All right, granted.
Okay, and then the last case, which is case number CE 2205-0013, case address 3029 Alhambra Street. That one would be violation 651-2 with 21 days with a stay of fines.
All right.
And also, I'm sorry, Your Honor, there is somebody here that would also like to speak with the City Beach Alliance.
Yeah, sir, did you want to speak on this case? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very briefly, and thank you for your service.
State your
William
name-
Brown.
Your name.
William Brown, President of the Central Beach Alliance. We support both staff's position and the request for stay and continuing, because we understand that it's going to take some time for them to address, especially the sign that's up high. And by reaching a resolution moving forward will prevent this from being heard next year during turtle season. So thank you.
All right, okay. Thank you, sir. All right, so we're granted the same rule, a 21-day extension, stay the fines as of this date. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Our next case is on page 29. Inspector Wilson Quintero. Case number CE 2205-0062. Case address 2300 Northwest 6th Street, numbers 1 through 6. Okay, so there's no respondent for this case. Our next case is on page 6 with Inspector Karen Proto. Case number CE 22070571. Case address 2201 Northwest 6th Court. Owner Anthony Willis Jr. Property posted 9/14/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number CE 22070571. Address 2201 Northwest 6th Court. The property was inspected on 7/26/22, and the following violations were observed. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, and debris on this property and the swell. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are areas of the exterior that have stains, missing, and peeling paint. 47-34.1.8.1. There is illegal land use occurring on the property. There are items being stored on the property such as, but not limited to, buckets, coolers, furniture, gas containers, and other miscellaneous items. 9-280, subsection 8, 1, the chain link fence at the property is in disrepair and not being maintained as required. 9-305B, the landscape on the property is not being maintained in a neat, well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-313, subsection A, property is not identified by approved address numbers. An inspection was mailed on 7/26/22. I re-inspected the property on 8/30/22, and a notice of hearing was posted on 9/14/22. As of pre-hearing inspection on 10/8/22, the violation remained as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
Okay. All right, sir, if you'll speak right in the microphone and state your name, please.
Anthony Willis. I'm gonna take care of it.
All right, you got a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, I already started. Changed the address, so I didn't get the first notification. So everything would have been taken care of then, and then recently with the hurricane and stuff and work, I didn't get to finish everything, so.
All right, I'm going to grant the city's request. I find that each violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter on each. I suggest you stay in touch with this lady. And,
Your Honor?
Again, you got a lot of work to do.
Your Honor,
Yes.
may I read in one more, please? I would like to read in one more. One more violation. 9-304B, there are vehicles, trailers, jet skis parked on the grass lawn and areas, including but not limited to a white Ford Transit van. That's the last violation. Excuse me. I just wanted to read in that other violation.
All
It was
right.
an extra violation.
Okay, so I find the violation does
Yes, sir.
exist.
Mhm.
Right. All right. Get to work. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 25. I'm sorry, we're going to skip that for a minute. Our next case is going to be on page 40 with Senior Inspector Dorian Cologne. Case number CE 200912888. Case address 1812 Northeast 23rd Avenue. Owner Augustus DeLong Jr. This case was first heard on 11/9/21 to comply by 2/8/22. There are 3 suspensions notated on the agenda. One section not comply to $50 per day. And fines are due to start on 10/12/22. Additionally, case number CE 201-00030, case address 1812 Northeast 23rd Avenue, owner Augustus DeLong Jr. This case was first heard on 11/9/21 to comply by 2/8/22. There are 3 suspensions notated on the agenda. One section not comply to $50 per day. Fines are due to start on 10/12/22, and this was in order to reappear.
Good morning again. Senior Inspector Cologne for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number CE 2009-1288. case, address 1812 Northeast 23rd Ave. Your Honor, this case was brought before the magistrate a couple times. The last time we had asked for an extension of 91 days with a reappearance, and the person representing the contractor is here to speak in reference to that.
All right. Okay, ma'am, state your name and tell me where we are with these problems.
Maria Castro. As of right now, Your Honor, we are actually has to go back to the environmental department to basically start the process with a new permit number. So I got an email from the reviewer dated September 27. They are actually complete the preliminary review, and they're just asking for two things more, just pay a fee, and that is being done, and just submit again a new set of engineer drawings. So I just thinking right now it's gonna take probably like maybe 30 days more for them to finalize the approval. Because we actually start again because the existing condition, the seawall went out more in the water, so it was necessary to start the process again. So that has been taking do it for the second time. And now, after they finish the review for the environmental and we get that license, we have to go back to the city to finalize the project. Like right now, we're just waiting for that to pour the new seawall. Everything is already set. The steel is there. You know, the whole form work is there. It just we need to get this approved.
What kind of property is this?
We just building a new seawall. It's a residential property.
Is it a commercial,
No,
private
residential.
home?
It's a residential home.
All right, okay. City's position?
So, Your Honor, the city would not oppose to another extension. I would say let's do another 91 day, just because it always tends to be a little bit over. We don't want to go beyond that. But also with the mandatory reappearance, please.
All right. On each, we'll just grant a 91-day extension.
For both, but I'll have to read in the second case. Is that what I'm sorry, is that what he said?
Okay,
So a 91-day
I'm sorry.
extension with the mandatory reappearance for case number CE 2009-1288. And for case number CE 20100030, the same thing, 91-day extension with the mandatory reappearance.
Right, so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 3. Inspector Michelle Shariar. Case number CE 22070441. Case address 553 Bayshore Drive. Owner Bayshore Concepts LLC. Property posted 9/13/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Shariar, Michelle Shariar, with the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Enforcement, presenting case number CE 22070441 for the property address 553 Bayshore Drive. Owner Bayshore Concepts LLC. This property was first inspected on July 23rd, 2022, and the following violations were observed. 18-12A complied. 9-305A complied, 9-305B. The landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are dead palm fronds on the trees located on the south side of the property, as well as the middle rear of the lot. 9304B. The asphalt surface in the front of the property is not being maintained. It is faded and cracked, causing blight to the surrounding area. 9-280H1, the chain link fence at this property is leaning in a state of disrepair and it is not being maintained as required. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 9th, 2022, and the violations remain as depicted on the photos, the city is requesting 35 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day thereafter per violation. I would like to submit my case file and photos to the court.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Crush.
Good morning, Your Honor. Courtney Crush on behalf of Bayshore Concepts. Your Honor, we appreciate if you would order as the inspector suggests, the 35 days. This is about to become a construction site for a new residential condominium. So we'll be submitting for a construction fence and moving forward. Permit.
All right, very good. For the record, I found that each violation does exist 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 36. Senior Inspector Dorian, Cologne. Case number CE 21050582. Case address 3016 Bayshore Drive, owner Bayshore Hotel LLC. This case was first heard on 1/27/22 to comply by 3/24/22. There are 3 suspensions notated on the agenda. 2 sections complied at $50 per day, $10,100 accrued, and the city is requesting $1,427.
Good morning again. Senior Inspector Cologne, City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number CE 21050582. Case address 3016 Bayshore Drive. This property was first heard on January 27, 2022 to comply by March 3rd, 2022, and the owner was given extensions to comply the parking facilities as well as the exterior of the buildings. As of September 1st, the case was in full compliance, and the city would like the photos entered for the record. There was a total of 22 inspections to the property, and the city is requesting just administrative costs for a total of $1,427.
Okay, Ms. Crush.
Courtney Crush, Your Honor, again. We very much appreciate the city's time and recommendation of administrative costs. Your Honor may recall, these were parking spaces that are not on my client's property, so a lot of research had to be done. However, my client did comply them.
All right, I'm going to impose $1,427. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inspector.
Our next case is on page 32. Inspector Bernstein Sambert. Case number CE 22040300. Case address 233 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner 235 South Fort Lauderdale Beach LLC. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 6/24/22. Suspended 7/28/22 to 8/7/22. 1 section not complied at $50 per day. $4,950 has accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Inspector Bernstein, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number CE 22040300. Property address 233 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. This case was first heard on 6/14/2022, where the magistrate ruled in favor of the city, and the property owner was ordered to correct violations at this property by 6/24/2022. As of today, the violations remain. City is requesting full imposition.
All right, Ms. Crush.
Good morning, Your Honor. Courtney Crush on behalf of the property owner. Your Honor, this is the Ben & Jerry's ice cream store. They are my client's tenant. We have been working very hard with the 15 businesses that my client owns along the street. There are 2, I believe, that were not in compliance in terms of ordering and installing amber lighting on the buildings as well as the menu board signs. And we will continue to work very hard to get this last retail space in compliance. I believe Inspector Sambert is meeting with the tenant today. They just need to pull down a shade if they haven't had the ability to get the amber lights. So if the city would consider a very brief inspection, extension, so that we could have them in compliance and return to you, I would appreciate it.
All right, anything further from the city?
1 second,
I'm
Judge.
sorry, it's not in compliance. It's been out of compliance 99 days.
It has, Your Honor. Half of the space, I believe, came into compliance. And I understand it's on the property owner to continue to push this hard on the tenant.
Good morning, Your Honor. Supervisor Stephanie Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. With Ben & Jerry's, with this particular location, this has been an ongoing problem with them for the last couple of sea turtle nesting seasons. So at this time, what we would suggest is moving forward with the imposition of fines for them to come into compliance. Then you can revisit the fines for a lien settlement after they're in compliance.
Understood?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch everything she said, but
I believe Supervisor Bass is recommending imposition of the fines because this has been going on for a long time. And I just indicated that I understood.
okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking for imposition of the fines because this particular location has been an issue for the last couple of sea turtle nesting seasons. So I'm asking for imposition of the fines, and once they're in compliance, they can come back and then ask for a lien reduction at the time that they're in
All right,
compliance.
good. All right, so ordered.
Our next case on page 32, case number CE 22040543. Case address 203 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner TRD of Fort Lauderdale LLC. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 6/24/22, suspended 7/28/22 to 8/7/22. One section complied at $50 per day, $1,700 accrued, and the city is requesting $672.
Okay, Ms. Crush?
Your Honor, we would appreciate this property my client owns and operates, doesn't have a tenant, and would appreciate your consideration of the administrative costs of $672.
Okay, I'm going to impose administrative costs, $672.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Inspector.
Our next case is on page 24. Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 22010458. Case address 441 Northeast 3rd Avenue. Owner Urban Flagler LLC. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. Suspended 6/14/22 to 9/13/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $3,150 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22010458. For the property located at 441 Northeast 3rd Avenue. This case first came before Special Master on April 12, 2022, where evidence was presented and magistrate found for the city. These violations were first cited on January 19 of 2022, and so far, a total of 13 re-inspections have been done to the property. There has been conversations with the property owner, the representative, and the tenant of the property and how to come into compliance with this violation. Unfortunately to say, sir, we have no compliance at this time. We have the representative of the property owner with us today.
Your Honor, Courtney Crush on behalf of the property owner. You may recall this is an existing church which has been repurposed for the Holly Blue restaurant. Following appearance in front of Your Honor where you granted an extension, we submitted a site plan application for the Development Review Committee in May 27th, 2022. And while this seems like a very small scope, because the signs proposed are in the downtown, the city staff advised we needed to hire an architect and submit a full site plan for this existing building. We diligently tried to do that. You can imagine an architect was not easy to get for such a small scope of work. There are two flag signs. We did put that back in June 6th, and then September 12th advised Inspector Caracas that the city had finally accepted the DRC package, which is about as comprehensive as if we were proposing to build a high-rise. So appreciate all of the time, but we would like to request another 45-day extension. We are going to the DRC committee finally on November 8th. Until we pass DRC, we cannot submit for signed permits. So if Your Honor would consider an additional 45 days, we'd greatly appreciate it.
All right, this has been going on a long time. Any objections from the city?
No, the city does not object, sir.
Okay, I'm going to grant a 49-day extension and stay the fines as of this date.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 25 with Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 22040447, case address 1647 Northwest 12th Court. Owner Rodney Clark, Magdalene Austin Estate. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 8/23/22. Two sections complied at $25 per day. $1,400 is accrued, and the city is requesting $672.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case number CE 22040447 for the property located at 1647 Northwest 12th Court. This case first became before Special Master on July 12th of this year, where evidence was presented and magistrate found for the city. These violations were first cited on April 12th of this year, and a total of 11 re-inspections were made to the property. There have been conversations by phone and in person with the property owner, and during these conversations, the status of the violations and corrective actions were discussed. I'm happy to say that as of today, we do have compliance, Your Honor, and as said before, the city's only asking for the $672 for the administrative costs.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name.
Rodney Clark.
Okay, you understand what this gentleman said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to impose administrative cost, $672. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 23
2-3.
with Inspector Karen Proto. Case number CE 22040857, case address 2327 Northwest 12th Court. Owner H. Paul LLC. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. Two sections complied at $25 per day. $2,250 is accrued, and the city is requesting $718.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the records. This case was presented before Special Magistrate on 7/28/22, where Magistrate Flynn approved the finding of fact. These violations were first cited on 4/26/22. A total of 12 inspections were done on the property. The case is now in compliance. The city is recommending full administrative cost of $718.
All right, ma'am, if you'll state your name for the record.
Good morning, Genevieve Henriquez.
All right, did you understand what this gentleman said?
No, gentlemen, Ms. Proto, I did understand what Inspector Proto said.
All right.
Your Honor, I just wanted to point out that, first of all, thanks very much for the professionalism that Inspector Proto has displayed. I do ask, if possible, that the fines be reduced, and especially if it could be reduced to nil. As I've explained to Inspector Proto, the resident on the property was actually dying. He didn't realize how sick he was. He went into the hospital on the 13th and passed 2 days later. And he was supposed to be taking care of these things, and she spoke to him several times. He promised that he would take care of that, but he was so sick that he wasn't able to get to it. But now we're in full compliance. It did cost us in excess of the fines, and so we ask that the board please reduce the fine or, in fact, do away with same.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to impose administrative cost, $718.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 21. Senior Inspector Gail Williams. Case number CE 21090170. Case address 205 Southwest 21st Terrace. Owner Steel Blue Land and Cattle LLC. This case was first heard on 1/11/22 to comply by 4/12/22. There are two suspensions notated on the agenda. One section complied at $100 per day. $2,200 accrued, and the city is requesting full amount.
Good morning, Your Honor. Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2109070, address 205 Southwest 21st Terrace. On September 9th, 2021, the following violation was cited and a citation issued for 47-19.1.c. As of October 5th, 2022, the case has complied. The city is requesting the full amount to be imposed of $2,200.
I'm sorry, say,
The city is requesting a full amount to be imposed
okay.
of $2,200.
All right, state your name, please, for the record.
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm here on behalf of Steel Blue Land and Cattle. My name is Pedro Villa. Just by way of a quick background, the property owner also owns the adjacent property, and we've been working with zoning and planning staff to try to see if there's a way to legalize what has been going on. So the only thing, and I agree with everything that Inspector Williams has said, if there's any flexibility as far as the fines, that's all I would ask. Other than that, we're in compliance and we agree with everything she said.
All right, okay. We were out of compliance 22 days. I'm going to impose fines of $1,100.
Great, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Our next
Yes.
case is on page 23 with Inspector Karen Proto. Case number CE 22041010. Case address 1225 Northwest 23rd Terrace. Owner Investment Lawyers LLC. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. Two sections complied at $25 per day. $1,600 accrued, and the city is requesting full amount.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the records. This case was presented before the special magistrate on 7/28/22, where Magistrate Flynn approved the finding of fact. The violations were first cited on 4/29/22, and a total of 10 inspections were done on the property. The case is now in compliance. The city is recommending full imposition of fines.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
My name is Ariel Lopez, and I'm a managing member of the LLC.
Anything you'd like to add?
What is the full amount?
Yeah, the city's requesting $1,600.
$1,600, sir.
Is there a possibility that we could be flexible on that?
$800 on each of two cases.
Is there a possibility that we could be flexible on that amount?
I'm sorry?
Can we be flexible on that amount? The thing, we have a school next to us, so keeping the grass is very hard. Because the parents come to pick up the kids, they park and they destroy our grass. So it's not an easy task for us to be able to keep that grass in good shape.
All right, sir, I'm going to impose $500 on each case for a total of $1,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 29. Inspector Wilson Quintero. Case address CE 22040705. Case address 1606 Northwest 12th Court. Owner Cedric and Dwayne Wright. This case was first heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/28/22. One section complied at $25 per day. $1,825 is accrued.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city. Case and address as read. This case was first heard on 6/30/22. The magistrate ruled in favor for the city, and the property owner was ordered to correct the violations at the property by 7/28/22. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22, and the violation has been brought into compliance, so now it's complied. City is requesting administrative costs totaling $718. 718, yes, sir.
80?
718.
Okay, very good. All right, sir, if you'll state your name, please.
Cedric Wright. The very first time I also came here, right, it was told that I need to move, I need to correct, right, because I have one shutter up that it need to be removed, and where I park my boat need to put grass there. I put grass there, take care of that. Next thing I know, I get another thing, talk about on this wave. I have two big trees outside here where no grass cannot grow. I continue to put grass there, right? Now, I went and spent $700 to put gravel. My wife called a supervisor. The supervisor stated that I cannot put the gravel there. I have to remove the gravel and put grass there. I did that. I just retire. I have no more money. Where do they expect me to get that from?
All right, sir. I'm going to impose administrative cost $718. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we are recalling the case on page 3 with Inspector Michelle Shariar, Supervisor Stephanie Bass, case number CE 22070441.
Good morning, Your Honor. Supervisor Stephanie Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Purpose to case CE 22070441. Address is read. Your Honor, we'd like to vacate the previous order, and we would like to instead ask for 91 days and an order to reappear. In light of the plans that Attorney Crush has presented, we think that we need to give more time to ensure that the case is in compliance. So we're going to ask for 91 days and an order to reappear.
All right, so you grant a 91-day extension or 91 days and $50 per day thereafter?
And an order to reappear.
Okay. All right, Ms. Crush, I assume you agree?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor, and I appreciate.
Prior ruling is vacated, if on the violations exist, 91 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter on each.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Supervisor.
And an order to reappear.
I will be
Yes.
here.
Our next case is on page 9. Inspector Wilson Quintero, case number CE 22080107, case address 1710 Northwest 8th Place, owner Dietrich Leclerc, property posted 9/20/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22080107, case address 1710 Northwest 8th Place. Property was first inspected on August 3rd, 2022, and the following violations were observed. 18-4C, there are several derelict vehicles being parked or stored on this privately owned vacant lot. Nuisance notice of abatement was 1812A is complied. Nuisance notice statement of abatement was posted on a pole in front of this vacant lot. Print form and work order were submitted to admin staff for mailing to the owner listed on BCPA records and scheduling with the contractor to have the overgrowth abated. Property was cleared prior to the contractor being able to abate, and there were private property no trespassing signs installed. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22. The derelict vehicles were still present. When I arrived for the inspection, I was able to speak with the property owner who's present, and he was actively cutting the grass at that time. He claims to have no knowledge of the vehicles and who they belong to, and didn't know who put the private property signs on the property. City's requesting 14 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25 a day thereafter.
Okay. All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name.
Dietrich Leclerc.
Anything you'd like to add to what this gentleman said?
No, I talked to him the other day. I didn't. The neighbors next door put the trespassing sign. I wasn't aware of it. I received. The only reason I know about it is because I received I think they tried to deliver the mail to me. I wasn't aware of it, and then because I had to sign for it, I guess, or something, and I wasn't there, so I just received the notice like a week ago.
Okay. I find that each violation does exist, 14 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter on each. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our, our next case is on page 40. Inspector Malaika Murray, case number CE 22030650, case address 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue, owner Dominic Darpino Estate. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 8/9/22, suspended 8/9/22 to 9/13/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $1,000 has accrued, and this is a request for an extension.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. Kindly request that the gentleman be sworn in. He had missed the swearing in.
I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. Inspector.
The respondent needs to be sworn in, Your Honor.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right in the microphone to
I'm
state your
sorry.
name, please.
Two things.
Don Darpino.
All right, you're
I'm sorry.
requesting an extension?
He was sworn in. He was already sworn in, and I wanted to correct that I said $1,000 accrued. It's actually $1,400 that has accrued.
Thank you, everyone. Inspector Murray with the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, case number CE 22030650. The case address is 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue. Once again, for the owner, Mr. Darpino, who is present today. This case first came before the Special Magistrate on June the 14th, 2022, where evidence was presented and the magistrate found for the city. During that hearing, a request for an extension had been requested with Mr. Darpino attending that hearing. He is here today to actually speak to you in regards to the current status of the property, which is not in compliance for that violation that remains.
All right, sir. How much of an extension are you requesting?
Well, my problem is that the repair is done up to the point of the roofing membrane, but I can't get tiles.
If you'll speak right into the microphone, sir.
I can't, the repair has been done up to the roofing membrane, but the concrete tiles that go on top of the membrane.
The roof just needs to be cleaned.
Well, that's been held up because of the repair that was needed.
I'm sorry?
That was held up because of the repair that was needed. You can't pressure wash it where the roof is
All
already.
right, 28 days? You got to give me a number.
Well, how about if I go around the repaired area and leave that out? Because the pressure washer would damage the repair until it has the concrete tiles on top. But we can't get tiles. They have supply chain issues. Can't get them anywhere.
Special Magistrate, we're not opposed to 21 or 28 days under your discretion.
I'm sorry.
I was saying, Special Magistrate, the city is not opposed to granting an extension of 21 or 28 days up to your discretion.
Okay, so
Well,
how many?
has your roofing contractor given you an estimate of when the tiles may be in?
No. One supplier suggested around 12 weeks. The others won't say because they're unsure. They're having problems getting. I have the old flat tile, and they're having problems getting tile.
Sorry, Your Honor. Supervisor Stephanie Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Most of the roof was previously cleaned, so it was only a small portion that still remained that needed to be portion that needed to be pressure cleaned as well. I know previously before it was in reference to saying that weather didn't permit and things of that sort. So I know now you're going forward saying that a portion of that area, are you saying now, needs to be repaired so you can't clean it because the tiles need to be replaced in that area and it may be an issue if you pressure wash it? Is that what you're saying now?
Well, I don't want to pressure wash repair because where the new material meets the old material, they just overlap and they're bonded with roofing mastic. And not something that won't take the pressure of the pressure washer. Of course, the concrete tiles will, but we can't get the tiles. The only thing I could do is go around that section, do the rest of it. I don't know what to do.
So if I'm understanding you, you're saying that the remaining portion of the tiles that the pressure washing will those tiles can't take the pressure washer
No,
for
it's
that
the
portion?
area, the repaired area with no tiles. I would be pressure washing the membrane and.
So you're waiting on a back order for tiles?
Well, most of the places won't even take a back order because they don't have any idea when they're gonna get them.
So, Your Honor, I'm still going, I think I'm still a little confused, because what we're trying to figure out at this point is, what time are you needing in order to get the remaining tiles, or either to pressure clean the remaining of the roof?
Well, I can pressure clean around the repair. In other words, if I stay a foot or two away, I'll probably be all right. But you'll still have that ring of dirt plus the repaired area where there are no tiles. And instead of white, it's kind of a light gray. That's what the roofing membrane is.
Right, so obviously you're not gonna pressure wash a roofing membrane, right?
Well,
We all know
especially where
that.
the new one attaches to the old one.
I think if you look at the picture, it looks like it's, I mean, if you're looking at the house, it's on the left-hand side
Right.
of the house. Now, is that the side where the roof repair is taking place? You see that, how it's nice and pretty white on the front, and then it's sort of darker gray on the side there?
Okay, well, actually, the repair is on the north side.
Is
And
that the other side?
That's the south side.
So can't you
And
just,
I thought that was what the complaint was about.
so
the
looking
north
at the
side.
picture, do you think you'll be able to pressure wash that side that you can see clearly is dirty? I don't think we're concerned, certainly, we're not gonna ask you to pressure wash a roofing membrane, that makes no sense. Nor is it dirty, because it's indeed a roofing
But yeah,
membrane.
there's no repair on that section.
Okay, can you
Okay.
power wash it then in
Okay, I always thought it
28
was the north
days?
side.
Huh? In 28
I
days?
always thought it was the north side, but yeah, that's the
Yes.
south side.
Yeah, that's the south side. So yes, so Your Honor, we're gonna ask for a 28-day extension for that portion of the roof to go ahead and get pressure
All
clean.
right,
Yeah,
okay,
I can do
good.
that.
So if you can just
All
power
right.
wash that side, then you'll be in compliance.
Okay, all right.
All right,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna grant a 28-day extension and stay the fines of the state.
All right, thank you.
Okay, please get this taken care of.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
All right. Is that all
Your
the
Honor, would you
appearances?
like to continue? Would you like to take a break?
You wanna take a recess?
We're gonna have a brief recess,
Let's take a 10-minute recess.
10-minute recess. hearing. On page 1, case number CE 22040084 is complied. Our next case is on page 2. Senior Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 22040699, case address 1519 Northwest 12th Court, owner A. Gould, property posted 9/26/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honors. Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22040699, address 1519 Northwest 12th Court. Property was cited on April 20th, 22 for the following violations: 9-304B, complied; 9-306, complied; 9-305B, complied; 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1. The fence at this property is in disrepair and is not being maintained as required. There are parts that are leaning and broken. 18-12A, complied. An inspection report was posted on the property and a copy mailed to the owner listed on BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 10th, 2022, and the violation 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 35 days to comply or a daily fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 4. Inspector Michelle Shariar, case number CE 22041012, case address 2627 North Atlantic Boulevard, owner Natasha Umlauf Trustee, property posted 9/18/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Michelle Shariar with the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Enforcement, presenting case CE 22041012 for the property address 2627 North Atlantic Boulevard, owner Natasha Umlauf Natasha Trust. This property was first inspected on April 29th, 2022, and the following violations were observed: 47-19.5.1.A.I, complied; 47-20.13.G.1. The swale area has been covered with sand instead of sod or living ground cover without having first obtained a landscaping and engineering permit prior to installation. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 9th, 2022, and the violations remain as depicted on the photos. The city is requesting 49 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day thereafter per violation.
All right, I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter on each.
49.
49, okay, 49 days to comply.
That's correct.
Our next case is on page 5. Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22060492, case address 3020 Northwest 17th Court, owner Judith Geberstratner, property posted 9/14/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22060492, address 3020 Northwest 17th Court. The property was inspected on 6/18/22, and the following violations were observed: 24-27B, withdrawn; 9-280, subsection 8, subsection 1, complied; 18-1, there is a violation on the property creating a public nuisance. There are items being stored such as tires, pallets, buckets, gas containers, and other miscellaneous items. 9-304B, there are vehicles and trailers parked on the lawn area. 9-305B, the landscape on the property is not being maintained in a neat, well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. BCZ 39-275 subsection 7, subsection A complied. An inspection report was posted to the property and mailed on 6/18/22. A reinspection of the property was done on 7/20/22. Notice of hearing was posted on 9/14/22. As of pre-hearing inspection, the following violations remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days and $25 a day thereafter for each violation.
All right. Okay. I find that each violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $25 per day on each.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 7. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22050274, case address 203 Northwest 12th Avenue. Owner Leonard LaVale. Property posted 9/20/22. Posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22050274, case address 203 Northwest 12th Ave. This property was first inspected on May 11th by myself, and the following violations were observed. 9-306 is complied. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover throughout the swale and property, including rear yard. 9-305A is complied. 9-304B, the paved driveway of this property is in disrepair. There are areas which are damaged and have dips or is sinking and the surface is stained with dirt or oil. 9-280B is complied. 18-4C is complied. 18-12A is complied. Inspection report was hand-delivered to the tenants and also mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22 and the violation still exists. I've been in contact with the property owner during the course of the case. The city is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25 a day thereafter for each violation.
All right, sir, you're here on that case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good
All
morning.
right. What would you like to add?
Nothing further, Your Honor. I received all the violations. All the violations have been complied with except for one, and I am requesting 30 additional days in order to comply.
Can you also please state your name for the record?
I'm sorry?
Can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Leonard Lavelle.
All right, find that each violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just to be clear, the $25 is imposed after the 30 days if I'm not in compliance.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 8, Inspector Wilson Quintero, case number CE 21050457, case address 981 Northwest 16th Avenue, owner Sandra Strong, property posted 9/14/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Inspector Quintero Jr., present on behalf of the city, case number CE 21050457, case address 981 Northwest 16th Ave. This property was first inspected by previous Inspector Holloway on May 17, 2021, and a follow-up inspection was done by myself on July 26, 22. The following violations were observed. 9-304B, the asphalt driveway on the property and swale area is in disrepair. There are large cracks and deformities, including potholes. 9-305B, the landscape at this property and swale is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 18-4C is complied. Inspection report was amended on July 26, 2022 due to the case not having been inspected for months and having to correct the verbiage, and it was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. Pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22 and the violation still exists. I obtained contact information for the property owner on 10/9/22 and I spoke with her. We agreed to 63 days and $25 a day for each violation thereafter.
All right, I found the violations do exist, 63 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 9, case number CE 22060330, Case address 524 Northwest 21st Terrace. Owner Kodos Investments S.A. LLC. Property posted 9/20/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Inspector Quintero Jr., presenting on behalf of the city, case number CE 22060330, case address 524 Northwest 21 Terrace. This property was first inspected on 6/21/22, and the following violations were observed. Section 18-7, the property has been boarded without first obtaining a board-up certificate. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are areas of the exterior that have stains and missing peeling paint. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, litter, and debris on this property and/or its swale. This is a recurring violation of previous case number CE 21090680. Original inspection report for just the overgrowth was posted on the fence due to no trespassing signage and mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. Per the directive of Supervisor Davila, an amended inspection report was mailed out on July 22nd, 22 to include additional violations which were present. Pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22, and all violations still exist. There has been no communication from anyone representing the property during the course of the case. City is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
I find that each violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 10, Inspector Wilson Quintero, case number CE 22060589. Case address 909 Northwest 16 Terrace, owner PBN Investments LLC. Property posted 9/20/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Inspector Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city, case number CE 22060589, case address 909 Northwest 16 Terrace. This property was first inspected on June 23rd, 22, and the following violations were observed. Section 24-27B is complied, 9-308B is complied, 9-305B, the landscape at this property and swale is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-304B is complied, 18-4C is complied, 18-12A is complied. Inspection report was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22, and the violation remains. I've had telephone and email contact with the owner and property manager during the course of the case. The tenants were the cause of the issues, and they have since been evicted. We're requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
Okay, I found the violations do exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 11, Inspector Bernstein Sambert, case number CE 22040885. Case address 1616 Northwest 6th Avenue. Owner Michael Jendrasic. Property posted 9/19/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Inspector Bernstein, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement Case and Property Address as read. This property was inspected on April 26, 2022 for the following violations. 18-12A complied. 9-280H complied. 9306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are areas of the exterior that have stains, missing, and peeling paint. 9-308B, the roof is not being maintained as required. It is dirty, discolored, and stained. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the swell. 9-304B, the driveway is cracked, has missing areas, and not well graded. Inspection report was posted and mailed to the owner listed on BCPA records. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. City is requesting 35 days or a fine of $50 per day per violation.
I find the violations do exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Our next case, case number CE 22040529. Case address 1136 Northwest 8th Avenue, numbers 1 through 3. Owner 1136 Northwest 8th Avenue, LLC. Property posted 9/19/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Bernstein Sambert, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement Case and Property Address Case number and property address as read. This property was inspected on April 14, 2022 for the following violations. 18-4C complied. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and/or debris on this property, including the swell, but not limited to the north side next to the school property. 9305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the swell. Inspection report posted and mailed to the owner listed on BCPA records. Pre-hearing inspection revealed the violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. City is requesting 21 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day.
I'm sorry, 21 days to comply.
Correct.
All right, and find the violations to exist, 21 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Also, on page 12, I called them out of order. That was the case at the bottom. The case at the top is CE 2205027, case address 1123 Northwest 6th Avenue, owner Marie Jacqueline. Property posted 9/19/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number and property address as read. This property was inspected on May 12, 2022 for the following violations. 18-4C complied. 9313A complied. 9305B complied. 9280H1. The chain link fence at this property is in disrepair and not being maintained as required. The fence is bent and the metal frame is missing / broken. 4721.16A, there is a dead tree stump on the property. 304B, the driveway has cracks, is faded and not being maintained in a well-graded, smooth condition. The parking striping is also faded. Inspection report was posted and mailed to the owner listed on BCPA records. Pre-hearing inspection revealed violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. City is requesting 35 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day.
All right, find the violations do exist, 21 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter. No, 35 days to comply. Owner. 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter. Got it.
Our next case is on page 13. Inspector Bernstein Sandberg, case number CE 22060553. Case address 1449 Northwest 3rd Court. Owner Little Boss Holdings. Property posted 9/19/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number and property address as read. Property was inspected on April 14, 2022 for the following violations. 2427B complied. 9-305A, there is growth of landscape materials with accumulation of leaves encroaching upon the public right-of-way. 4734.1.8.1, there is illegal land use occurring at this property. There are existing wheelbarrow and other roof materials on the rear of the property not being screened from view. 1812A, there is trash on this property swell. This is a recurring violation per case CE 21060219. 305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the swell. Inspection report was posted and mailed to the owner listed on BCPA records. Pre-hearing inspection revealed violations that it is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. City is requesting 28 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day per violation.
Okay, I find the violations do exist, 28 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 14, Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 22070098. Case address 916 Northwest 3rd Avenue, numbers 1 through 4. Owner 916 Northwest 3rd Avenue, LLC. Property posted 9/14/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance Inspector, presenting case number CE 22070098 for the property located at 916 Northwest 3rd Avenue. Inspection of the property was performed on July 6th of this year and cited for the following violations. 9-304B, there are vehicles or trailers parked on the grass lawn area. 47-20.20.H point has been complied. 9-280G, there are electrical wires and accessories not maintained in a good, safe working condition, including but not limited to wires exposed on the outside, non-covered electrical meter box. 9-280B, there are building parts which are deteriorated and not maintained, including but not limited to the exterior doors and windows. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia and soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have stained and missing peeling paint. 18-4C, there are derelict vehicles or trailers on the swale or on the property. The derelict vehicles stored on the property are not operable, has flat tires, invalid or expired registration tag. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and on its swale. Courtesy notice was mailed to the property owner listed on BCPA via first-class mail May 1st of July 6th of 2022, allowing 10 days to come into compliance. Contact has been made with the owner's representative. Special magistrate request form sent on August 18th and scheduled for today's special master. Pre-hearing inspection was done on October 6th and also yesterday was done. And as you can see on these pictures, the following violations not been brought into compliance. The city is requesting the following, Your Honor. 30 days to come into compliance or a daily fine of $100 for each of the violations that exist.
I'm sorry, how many days?
Oh, I'm sorry. 35 days to come into compliance or $100 for each of the violation that exists.
All right, I found that.
Photo submitted into record for evidence.
Found the violations do exist, 35 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 16. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 2206-0126, case address 420 Northwest 14 Terrace, owner G Gems Inc., property posted 9/20/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city, case address case number CE 2206-0126, address 420 Northwest 14 Terrace. This property was first inspected on June 7, 2022 by Inspector Caracas, and the following violations were observed. 47-34.1.A.1 is complied. 9-304B, the gravel driveway is not well graded. It is worn and there is weeds and grass growing through it. 9-304B, there are vehicles/trailers parked on the grass lawn area. 9-308B is complied. 9-280H1, the fence at this property is in disrepair and is not being maintained as required. There are parts that are bent and the gate is rusted and disconnected from the poles. 18-4C, there are derelict vehicles or trailers on the swale or on the property, including but not limited to white Nissan and silver sedans without a tag. 18-12A is complied. Inspection report was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 10/9/22 and the violations remain. There has been no contact from the property owners during the course of the case. City is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
Right, I found the violations do exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case on page 17, Senior Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 22070249, case address 2930 Northwest 24th Court, owner Christiane Antoine Estate, property posted 10/3/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22070249, address 2930 Northwest 24th Court. Property was cited on July 13th for the following violations. 9-305B, the landscape at this RS5 property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 47-34.1.A1, there is an illegal land use occurring at the rear of this RS5 property consisting of couches, tables, mattress, barrels, and other miscellaneous items. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, and rubbish and debris on the property and/or its swell. There is trash, clothing, rugs, and debris in the rear of this property. An inspection report was mailed mailed to the owner listed in BCPA because of no trespassing sign on the property. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 10th, and the violations 9-305B, violation 47-34.1.1A, and 18-12A remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 14 days to comply or a daily fine of $25 per day thereafter.
All right, I find the violations do exist, 14 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 18. Inspector Michelle Shariar, case number CE 22080305, case address 3114 East Sunrise Boulevard, owner 3114-20 East Sunrise Boulevard LLC, property posted 9/13/22, posted at City Hall 9/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Michelle Shariar with the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Enforcement, presenting case number CE 22080305 for the property address 3114 East Sunrise Boulevard, owner 3114-20 East Sunrise Boulevard LLC. This property was first inspected on August 11th, 2022, and the following violations were observed. 47-19.9.5.B, outdoor furniture has been installed on the north side of the property, including tables and chairs, without first having obtained an outdoor dining permit. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on October 9th, 2022, and the violations remain as depicted on the photos. The city is requesting 14 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day thereafter per violation. I would like to submit my case file and photos for the court.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 14 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Yes.
Our next case is on page 20, case number CE 22080598, case address 6721 Northwest 34th Avenue, owner 6724 Holdings LLC. This case was cited on 8/24/22 to comply by 9/8/22. One section not complied at $200 per day, $6,600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue. No appeal was received for this citation.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22080465, case address 1713 Southwest 4th Court, owners Katia and Issa Hall. This case was cited on 8/23/22 to comply by 9/7/22. One section complied at $200 per day, $1,600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and no appeal was received for the citation.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 200600004, case address 3621 North Ocean Boulevard, owner 3621 North Ocean Boulevard LLC. This case was first heard on 5/27/21 to comply by 7/1/21. There are several suspensions notated on the agenda. This case is complied. It accrued fines of $23,300, and the city is requesting a reduced fine of $4,660.
The city's request is granted.
On page 21, case number CE 21080035, case address 2180 Northeast 62nd Street, owner Kosh. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 9/13/22. 6 sections not complied at $25 per day, $4,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 22, case number CE 22030477, case address 130 North Dixie Highway, owner Marcellus Enterprises LLC. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. 1 section not complied at $50 per day, $2,350 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 25. Case number CE 22040514. Case address 828 Northwest 3rd Avenue. Owner Serengeti Progresso 1 LLC. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 7/22/22. 1 section complied at $100 per day, $1,000 accrued, and the city is requesting $580.
The city's request is granted.
On page 26, case number CE 22050575, case address 2121 Northwest 4th Street, owner Hoover Whitehead. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 8/9/22. 8 sections not complied at $25 per day, $12,600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
City's request is granted.
Our next case on page 27, case number CE 22040338, case address 1565 Northwest 5th Street, owner Anna Hayes Realty Trust, Tamar Group LLC, trustee. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. 3 sections not complied at $50 per day, $7,050 accrued. 1 section complied at $50 per day, $200 accrued. A total of $7,250 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue on the non-complied violations.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040517. Case address 2200 Northwest 8th Street. Owner Shalonda Copeland. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. 2 sections not complied at $50 per day, $4,700 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 28, case number CE 22040703, case address 1601 Northwest 12th Court, owner FYR SFR Barrow LLC, in care of Havenbrook Homes. This case was first heard on 7/28/22 to comply by 8/25/22. 3 sections not complied at $100 per day, $14,100 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
Granted.
Case number CE 22050, our next case is on page 29. Case number CE 220500062, case address 2300 Northwest 6th Street, numbers 1 through 6. Owner Scab LLC. This case was first heard on June 30th, 2022 to comply by July 28th, 2022, September 1st, 2022. 4 sections not complied at $50 per day, $11,500 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The request is granted.
Our next case is on page 31. Case number CE 22030071. Case address 1115 Northeast 16th Avenue. Owner John Maltsby. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 7/12/22. Suspended 7/28/22 to 8/18/22. 1 section complied at $25 per day. $375 accrued, and the city is requesting no fines.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 32. Case number CE 22040770. Case address 17 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, K2. Owner Thor Gallery, Beach Place LLC, in care of Ryan LLC, Davina Tavares. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 7/22/22. 1 section not complied at $50 per day. $4,050 accrued. This is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 22040771. Case address 17 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner Thor Gallery at Beach Place LLC, in care of Ryan LLC, Davina Tavares. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 7/22/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $4,050 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The request is granted.
Our next case is on page 33. Case number CE 22050380. Case address 17 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Owner Thor Gallery at Beach Place LLC, in care of Ryan LLC, Davina Tavares. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 7/22/22. Two sections not complied at $50 per day, $8,100 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040874, case address 1613 Northwest 6th Avenue, owner Kevin B. Quigley. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 8/9/22. Two sections not complied at $25 per day, $3,150 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 34. Case number CE 22050136, case address 1545 Northeast 5th Avenue. Owner Jude Petion. This case was first heard on 7/12/22 to comply by 8/9/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $3,150 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22060231, case address 227 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Owner Clothes Connection. This case was first heard on 8/9/22 to comply by 8/19/22. One section complied at $50 per day, $1,700 accrued, and the city is requesting $672.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040685, case address 480 Northwest 24th Avenue. Owner Summer Lake Villas LLC. This case was first heard on July 12, 2022 to comply by September 6, 2022. One section complied at $50 per day, $1,500 accrued, and the city is requesting $534.
The request is granted.
On page 38, case number CE 22030941 has been rescheduled. Case number CE 211-10166, case address 510 Northwest 22nd Avenue, number 3, owners William and Electa Cone. This case was first heard on 8/9/22 to comply by 9/6/22. 7 sections not complied at $100 per day, $24,500 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
The city is requesting to enter page 42 into today's hearing as an exhibit. It is the city's list of complied, closed, withdrawn, and rescheduled cases.
All right.
This concludes the special magistrate hearing agenda for October 11, 2022.